Because fixed gear bikes are so simple and reliable, they make great commuters for any season. But what exactly makes a great fixed gear commuter? Well, today Wabi Cycles sponsored this video and they sent over a bike all the way here to Taipei, Taiwan, so we could show you exactly what makes the ultimate fixed gear commuter. What's up? I'm Zach Gallardo and this is Shoutout of Faith Gear Fixie here in Taipei, and we're going to be building up the beautiful bike in this box today. Shoutout is just going to be in and out of this video because, as you've probably seen, I'm going to need some help. Life is short, but don't make it shorter, so be sure to ride your bike every day to be reasonably dangerous and subscribe for more fixed gear videos just like this one. For top-tier steel bikes that are perfect for building up the ultimate fixed gear commuter, consider checking out Wabi Cycles linked at the top of the description. In this video, we'll be unboxing this bike, building it up, and then I'll take it out for its maiden voyage to show you how the Wabi Thunder stacks up as a fixed gear commuter. There's the frame. Surprisingly light as always. For me, it's always a pleasure to get a bike from Wabi because they pay really close attention to detail, even when it comes to simple things like their packaging. This bike came to Taipei all the way from Denver, Colorado, and the box and everything in it looks like it's in better condition than a lot of bikes that I get shipped from within the same state. But the true test of Wabi's packing skills is in the wheels, because wheels aren't the easiest thing to ship, and if they remain true after shipping, that means they've done a good job. These things are hand tensioned and they still look impeccably true. That's a really good wheel building, I must say. These spokes are really tight. So this frame set is the Wabi Thunder. A lot of people think of the Thunder as a cyclocross bike, but the geometry of the Thunder is actually closer to the Wabi Classic than it is to a true cyclocross bike, meaning it is slightly more aggressive than a true cyclocross bike, which should make the geometry perfect for city riding.
The pack is very good.
Yeah, everything's very tidy.
Very clean.
Yeah, this one's packed so well I can't get it.
How much the price, the final price for the customer?
Final price. This one is, I think, I have it. I should know it.
Oh, it's light.
Yeah, very light. The steel that they use is really good. 995 USD.
Yeah, nice price.
On their website, like, you can customize it and
Everything. Color and
yeah, and handlebars and gear ratio.
Oh.
Yeah, and their wheels. Feel the tension on the spokes. Feel like they build it so tight. Could you please help me with this box?
What is? What happened?
They pack it too well.
Yeah. Finally.
Finally free. While speccing this bike to make a great fixed gear commuter, there's a couple of things that we needed to keep in mind. First, what even makes a great commuter bike? A great commuter is reliable, useful, and flexible. That's why we chose to go with the Wabi Thunder, since it is a single speed or fixed gear drivetrain. It also has tire clearance for up to 29 inches by 2 inches. To put that into perspective for us fixed gear riders, that means it can easily fit 45C tires. With that tire size, we decided to spec with the Wabi Thunder wheels, 32 spokes, and it's tensioned really tightly, which makes for a durable wheel. And these are wrapped in 38C Pan Racer Pacellas to smoothen out the ride and to get less flats, all while still being reasonably fast rolling. Along with that, we're adding a front rack for some extra utility to get the load off of your back. The frame set is also ED coated inside and out, meaning that it's practically rust-proof even though it is a steel bike. You get the nice, smooth ride quality of steel in a nice and light package with the Reynolds 725 tubing, and also it doesn't rust, so it's a win-win-win. Without further ado, let's get to building this bike.
every step we need to some,
grease always.
Yeah, and you can protect.
How hard do I have to hit? I see. Yeah, looks good to me. This is why I say bring your bike to a shop if you need to have a headset installed, because it requires a very specific tool that only does one thing, and once you do it, you don't ever have to do it again. Wabi, I know you want the bike back, but I'm cutting the fork. I don't know if that's okay with you, but we're doing it. Now that the fork is cut, we're going to install the star nut. Again, if you're building a bike, there's some things that you should do yourself, and then there's some things that I recommend that you just take it to a shop because they require such specific and expensive tools, and you only need to do the job once. A bike shop can really help you out in those circumstances. Pro tip, when you're loading the bearings of your headset, if you keep a spacer on top of the stem, it makes it a lot easier to load the bearings into the headset. Now that our front end is complete, let's move on to the bottom bracket and the rest of the drivetrain. Always, whenever there's metal-to-metal contact, make sure that you grease the threads to 1, make it going smoothly, and 2, to prevent your parts from seizing up over time. While Halshong is taking care of the bottom bracket, I'm going to take care of the cog and the lock ring. I just want to say that the whole attention to detail thing that I was talking about, this seat post bolt is pre-greased. Quite considerate of Wabi. If you guys could remember a time when I tried to install V-brakes, I wasted about 3 to 4 hours trying to figure out these brakes. Why are there so many dang parts just to make a thing go? Support your local bike shop. Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. Leave it to the professional. Now that we've got the Thunder all built up and ready to go, here's the obligatory bike jack and some of the reasoning that went behind speccing this bike. This is the Wabi Thunder, constructed out of Reynolds 725 tubing for maximum weight savings and maximum Fixie points. Speaking of Fixie points, this specific Thunder frame set, finished in turquoise, is a custom color, if only I was keeping this bike. Lucky for you, you can choose your own custom color right on Wabi's website for an upcharge. The Thunder comes equipped with all your essentials to build a flexible commuter bike, from clearance for thick 45C tires for eating railroad tracks, potholes, and gravel, canty studs so your brakes can actually clear those tires, cable routing on the top of the top tube to balance easy installation and shoulderability, rack and fender mounts to keep you and the stuff you're hauling dry, and an ED coating to make this steel practically rust-proof. The Thunder is designed to get done with panache. To unlock the utility that the Thunder was made for, we have an Originate Rush Messenger flat rack paired with the 560mm Originate Urban Pro risers to give control over the 15 pounds of unroasted coffee beans and bow ties you're hauling back to your studio apartment. These bars are wrapped in lizard skins to maintain grip even under wet conditions. To maintain a proper fit, we have an 80mm stem to compensate for the bar's longer reach, 30mm of spacers to see over traffic, a stealthy black aluminum seat post with 25mm of setback, topped with a Velo saddle. The pedal setup are fixation gates, platforms, and straps for ultimate comfort, with enough power transfer to get you and your cargo up hills and up to speed from stops. Moving on to the drivetrain, we have the Andel RSC1s with a 46-tooth Andel chainring and an 18-tooth Wabi cog for a balance of control, speed, and cadence while riding with a front load. The wheels are 32-spoke Wabi CX wheels, built tight and tensioned by hand to perfection to make for a stiff, durable wheel laced to Wabi's buttery smooth, no-nonsense sealed bearing hubs. The rims are 24mm wide to comfortably mount fat tires, with some people reporting that they're mounting up to 2-inch tires or 50C tires just fine. To top it off, the wheels weigh in at a slight 1,920 grams. The tires are 38C Panaracer Pacellas to prioritize zippy and plush street riding while still being capable of tackling dirt and gravel. Funnily enough, these 38s look skinny with the Thunder's gargantuan tire clearance. That's our Wabi Thunder, spec'd to the eyeballs for utility while still being a ton of fun to ride. Or at least, that's the idea. Paper specs are all said and good, but they don't matter unless the bike actually rides well and performs well. So let's take the Thunder out for a spin to see how it rides. Unfortunately, after riding the Wabi Thunder, I did have to say goodbye to it. Since I have a lot of experience riding a fixed gear cyclocross bike that I built up as a commuter bike, I'm going to have to compare the Wabi Thunder with my previous unnamed purple cyclocross bike. While I absolutely loved my previous unnamed purple cyclocross bike with racks, fenders, wide bars, and fat tires, it wasn't a perfect bike and it didn't quite ride the way I wanted it to. While my previous bike is a touch more relaxed cyclocross geometry with a front end trail in the mid-60s, made it handle very confidently on the dirt and gravel. It wasn't quite as aggressive as I wanted it to be out on the street, which is where I ride 99% of the time. On that bike, I found myself having to take corners a lot more widely than I would have liked to, which made it a bit more difficult to ride as hard and as fast as I would have liked. Compared with the Wabi Thunder though, it turns out the Wabi Thunder is more so of the bike that I never knew I wanted. The Thunder maintains all the same characteristics as my previous cyclocross bike that made it a great commuter while fixing my number one issue with it with a more aggressive front end geometry. The Thunder has a 73-degree head tube angle depending on what size you get it in, paired with a fork that has 50mm of offset, amounting to a front end trail in the mid-50s. This meant that the bike steered exactly how I wanted it to. At no point did I find the geometry too dead, even with a around 10 to 15 pound front load. And the Reynolds 725 tubing also yielded a very similar ride quality to my Wabi Special that I love riding so much. Agile, responsive, and springy without feeling overly mushy. The bike certainly planes. It's a term to describe how a bike flexes in a way where it feels good. And whenever you're mashing down on the pedals, it feels like the bike is encouraging you to move forward. At the same time, if you just want to chill and hang back, the bike is perfectly comfortable doing that too. Stiffness is a very fine balancing act, where if a bike is too stiff, it feels like you have to fight against the frame set in order to pedal. And the same goes for if a bike isn't stiff enough and it feels like you have to slog through a pile of mashed potatoes. But the Wabi Thunder, like the rest of Wabi's bikes that I've ridden, hits a sweet spot for stiffness. It just feels right to pedal on. It's really hard to describe unless you've experienced it before, but if you're interested in a Wabi, I suggest doing your own research, searching the forums, and checking out my reviews that I did way before I was even partnered with Wabi. Wabi Thunder also remedied my second biggest problem with my previous cyclocross bike. Although it's not an apples to apples comparison, my previous bike rode absolutely terribly unpredictably and kicked like a mule when it was loaded down with gear. I was worried that might also be the case, especially considering the Wabi Thunder's much lighter Reynolds 725 tubing. But to my surprise, even with 10 to 15 pounds of camera gear loaded on the front rack, the Thunder still sprinted and handled very confidently. I was still able to take pretty aggressive turns, especially in this clip where I made a bad judgment call and almost ran right into the trunk of a car. But even with the front load, the Thunder was still agile and confident and able to get me out of that situation safe and sound. The Thunder checks all the boxes for being a great utilitarian fixed gear bike for commuting. But unlike a lot of other fixed gears and single speed frame sets that can accommodate fatter tires, full fenders, and racks, the Wabi Thunder is still a blast to ride, and at least in my eyes, rides exactly how I want a bike to ride. It's useful, but it's still a ton of fun, making it a great option if you're looking for the ultimate fixed gear or single speed commuter bike. And if you're interested in swooping a Wabi Thunder complete or frame set for yourself, you can check those links out, linked at the top of the description. And shout out to Wabi Cycles for number one, making awesome bikes, and number two, for making this video happen so that I could show you all exactly what makes a great commuter fixed gear. And if you like this video, remember to give it a thumbs up to let me know. And if you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down. I'm surprised you even made it to this point in the video, but let me know with a dislike. Stop watching me right now if you haven't ridden your bike yet today, because life is short, but don't make it shorter. So ride your bike every day to be reasonably dangerous.